welcome to Practical Excel. This is a channel devoted to the learning of Microsoft Excel. The goal here is to give you the tools needed to not only learn the many facets of Excel, but also give ideas on the raw power that can be harnessed into job opportunities. Today we're going to be going over the if statement in our second installment. Um, and It's another important tool in an Excel guru's toolbox. It really is the first way of automation that starts to let Excel make its own decisions for you, so you don't have to do it. And so when stuff changes, it allows you to focus more on what you need to focus and not many of the decisions of, do this if this, and that's what the if statement's for. So getting into it, the purpose of the if statement, it allows you to make logical comparisons between a value and what you expect. So the if statement can really have the two results. The first result is if your comparison is true, and then the second is if your comparison is false. Basically, it's the way that you can remember it is you do if, then, else. So if this is true, then do this, or else do something else. And you can see in the syntax, that's basically what it is. You're just checking to see if something's true, and then you put a comma. If it is, then you're going to do this little section inside the function. And if it's not true, you're going to do this section. Now this section is optional. You don't actually have to do it. But if it's not true, it'll just say false. But so I usually will always put something in there. Getting into the functionality of it, it's pretty simple. So look at example 1. I have an if statement here. It's going back, and if you notice, we're now using the references from the first episode here, is if C9 is blank, then just return the value true. If not, return the value false. And it's pretty simple. It doesn't really get much simpler than that. So if I come in and put a number 1 in here, you'll see that it automatically changes to false. If I bring it blank again, it goes back to true. And if we just type something in here, you'll see it'll change to false. So in example 2, it's a little bit more complicated. What we're going to do in this example is, if you see, we're going to be comparing. This is our kind of logical test. We're going to be comparing the two values, L9 and L10. We're going to check to see if L9 is greater than L10. Now, if it is greater than L10, if L9 is the bigger number, we're going to give it the bigger number. We're going to say, put this number. But if it's not, we're going to make it put this number, the L10. So basically what it's going to do is it's always going to give us the largest number. And so you can see if I put a 1 here, it'll say, oh, that's a bigger number, we're going to list the 1. But then in value 2, if I put a 2, it's going to list the 2. If I put 100 up on value 1, it's going to automatically change to the larger number. And that's just an if statement that's going back and forth between whether or not it's true or false. If I put 101, it's going to say it. Now, I mean, it's very, very specific. So if I do 101.00001, it's actually, I'd have to bring it out, but it'll actually go for the first one. So that's basically it. That's the general functionality of it. The two main things is comparing the two numbers or checking to see if it's blank. In practice, what I find that I've used before is, let's say you have a vacation budget here, clothes, tickets, hotel, food, your very basics. You have your budget, and then you have your actual. Well, what the if statement's doing is it's checking between the two numbers, between your budget and your actual, and it's going to say that right here, C5 to D5, whether or not it's greater than or equal to. If it's greater than or equal to, well, then you're good, But if it's not, so basically if C5 is greater than D5, it's going to come back and say, hey, you're over budget. Now, you can see right now, it's all zeros, so we're good. So if I was to put in, $95 here, we're still good. But let's say the ticket price here was $560. Well, now it switches automatically to over budget. If 200, if it goes to 230, well, now we're over budget. And if food is 125, you'll see that we're still good. And then you can just, focus in on the ones that you're over budget, see if you can finagle something and get it fixed, whatnot. Pretty simple. Now, it looks small, but here's a little bit of innovation here. What's cool is, let's say you got your products. You might have a list right here. I only got 4, but you may have hundreds. You may have thousands of products, and then you got your cost here, and then here's your check to see if it's taxable, no or yes, and then if it's taxable, well, give the total with the tax. But if it's not, just give the regular total itself. So here you'll see it's checking to see if C4 is taxable. If it's yes, if that value is yes, then what it's going to do is, again, using the references, it's going to go up to C1 and it's going to multiply and basically just the formula to get your little tax multiplied to it. But if it's not taxable, then just give the regular basic total. So that's it. And that's about it, going all the way down. Now, what's cool about it is you can start changing stuff. So let's say your tax just goes down to 5%. Well, now the if statement will automatically know, and because we reference this top portion here, it'll change all the values to it. When your cost changes, if candy now goes up to $2, it'll automatically change everything. If all of a sudden shirts becomes taxable, then your value is going to change all the way through. And yeah, the if statement is definitely very useful, especially when you start using it with other things. So thank you for watching. You can email me at practicalexcel2016@gmail.com. If you like the video, please click like. And if you want to continue watching, I'll be putting out episodes every day, every couple days until I get this series complete. Please click subscribe. Thank you very much.